All right, we are on. G'day everyone. Hello to Fraser
Hello.
and Charlie,
Howdy.
and we're missing Sam today. Unfortunately, Sam is off doing something else. So hopefully he'll be back next week.
He's out in the field, deep
out in the field.
researching.
That's exactly. He's doing something out in the outback in Australia somewhere, cruising around with no Wi-Fi. How's everyone's week been?
Yeah, good.
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 Good. Anything exciting happen?
Pretty. Uh, Not really. Just long times. I've just been playing with visual effects a lot this week. You know, in the game that I'm working on, just a lot of tweaks. None that I've put together myself,
Okay.
because that's not really my expertise. But lots of tweaks and adjustments to it, which has been quite fun. Learning that the Unity particle system can be pretty robust.
You sound surprised.
Oh well, I just haven't seen much, many great effects come out of it before. But these ones are pretty decent.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And I'm sure there's people out there who are, wizards at it.
There must be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume so. It's obviously quite different to what you get in Unreal. I'm assuming with like Cascade and now Niagara.
Yeah, very much. It's that base level. It's just a bit higher, I think, in with exactly what you said, yeah, Niagara and stuff.
Yeah. So more coding, more scripting required for Unity.
Not so much. Just like less, not as well presented. I find, the interface,
Uh-huh.
and so there's sort of more is kind of hidden. And if you don't know where to look, you won't find it.
Oh, okay.
So I've had some chats with the artists who made it, and they've pointed out a bit to me, and which has been really,
Interesting.
been helpful.
Ah, okay, cool. And Fraser, what about yourself? How's your week been?
Honestly, it's been
Yeah, well, you could lie if you want. I mean, give us some good news.
it's been a lot of Silk Song and a little bit of walking at the beach. So
Goodness me.
very
That's
relaxing,
a good week.
not very
Yeah.
intense.
How do you get time to play games? Seriously, what's the story?
I've been sacrificing productivity.
You've been sacrificing productivity. Yeah.
I got to
fair enough.
rep Adelaide, Silk Song comes out. What am I gonna do? Not play it?
Yeah, you're gonna
I'm
keep
supporting
working
the
on getting
local
your
gaming
game.
community.
But I mean, you're supporting your local game community by actually making a game. Isn't that even better?
Maybe, but
Yeah. Yeah.
small
These-
wins.
These people who have time to play games, I don't understand it. It's extraordinary. So you haven't been very very productive on Arvo.
No, unfortunately, I'm working. Well, it's the plan is to get back on it, but yeah, I think I was maybe more burnt out from the push for the
Yeah.
application deadline than I realized.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Sort of even like a day or two after finishing, I was like, okay, yeah, like a few days off and I'll be back to it, and then it's just turned into a week, and then
Yeah.
a few extra days on top of the week, and I'm like, oof. But I don't know.
Don't stay away too
I've
long.
been, I've been trying to rest properly,
Yep.
and not just sort of, get into that spiral of like, oh, I should be doing work, and then, not even getting good rest in. So
What
Yeah.
can be even worse is if you do really burn yourself out, because then you can be out of action for weeks or months even. So it's better to take some time out and have a rest, have a proper rest.
yeah,
The worst
and
thing is
it's
to get to it, just feel complete revulsion. Like your heart just goes, oh no, I can't handle this. I've got to go away somewhere else and go and play a different game.
it's good having someone like Gemma though to work with, someone who is understanding of that sort of fact of it, but also, we do 2 meetings every week. Some weeks those are multiple hours. I think we had one meeting that went for 4.5 hours before the grant submission,
Right.
and then these past couple of weeks they've been half an hour just to check in, and it's sort of that like
Yeah.
it's another good motivating factor. Seeing someone doing work, it's almost like a little bit of jealousy where it's like, oh, you've made some really cool progress. Gemma's gotten
Oh,
started on making our website for the game. So
nice.
yeah, I'm sort of like, oh, you know, it makes me want to sort of get into it properly again and get
Sure.
that productivity up.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Well, next week you'll be back into it, right?
Yes,
This week
absolutely.
coming. This week coming, I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Well, as long as you enjoyed the, time at the beach and playing Silk Song, that's all good. That's all good. Cool. I actually spent some time, for the first time in a long time, I actually downloaded Unreal Engine, the latest Unreal Engine 5.6. And they've made some changes, which is quite interesting. Yeah, it's really good to see that they've finally, I think, got out of the sort of thing of just being like a techie company game engine, where the updates are all under the hood, substantial updates, and they have made updates to the windows, to the windows, the perspective window and stuff. And they've made the big change, which you normally see in, like, this is like Adobe stuff or Apple Mac kind of stuff, where they've moved a set of icons from the left hand side to the right hand side and taken the ones on the right hand side to the left hand side. It's like, oh, fantastic! We're finally in the place where a game engine is doing the same thing as the type of software that we love to hate. So I thought that was
streamline of design in the interface, isn't it?
so I'm spending all this time looking where the hell is, like, I'm not, I'm just sort of so used to going to the particular side of the screen, and no, it's going the other side now. So they did that, but they did some other stuff as well, which has been quite interesting. It's more performant now, so I've got a Radeon, what is it? I always forget. Radeon 780 XT, 7800 XT. And I think when I first started using that with the Unreal Engine, it just ran like a dog. So, because the Unreal, they think everything. We talked about this last week, about the issue with ray tracing and Lumen and Nanite, and so they turn it on automatically, and it's not optimized at all, but it ran a lot better in 5.6. I didn't get as many artifacts. I was getting 120 FPS in the content examples thing, with the sort of maths and all that sort of stuff going on. So that was impressive. That was good to see. I'm glad to see they've done some sort of updating and some. They've been listening to people who've been complaining about things like performance, and it's certainly looking much better now. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
What versions do you sort of usually play with?
Well, I'm teaching Intro to Computer Graphics with it again. We're starting next week. So I've taught that in 5.0. So that was the original one. In fact, I taught something similar back in 4 point whatever. That's using the materials and maths and stuff. So that stuff hasn't really changed. The material editor and the material nodes. Like I took the one that I had in 5.0, migrated it straight to 5.6, and it was all good. No problem. It just ran without any worries whatsoever, which is always fantastic to see. So they haven't really changed anything. They haven't made anything game breaking in the materials section, which is really good. Mind you, the materials, I think the materials part of the Unreal Engine is very mature and well bedded down. Like, it's gone through iterations, many years ago. So yeah, there's not too many reasons to change that. And what else was there? Oh, they've done a few things which is kind of interesting. They've removed the example content, which is really disappointing. So they have made a few kind of really interesting changes. I'd say it's probably one of the watershed versions in 5 point in the engine in Engine 5. So sometimes they have those sort of major changes. I think it's one of those.
Okay.
So but it's quite different. So the layout, the layout and the screen, and everything is quite different. Starting up a new project, you've got the option of doing they've got a horror, a first person
horror template.
Yeah, horror
Oh.
template and a first person shooter template. So you can choose between both of those. Which is kind
I
of
noticed
interesting.
Unity's going down that same path when starting a new project. They've got a lot of templates to start with, which is interesting.
This is why we get shit games. I hate to
Yeah,
say.
people use
I think
the
this is
base
why we
and
get
don't
shit
actually
games.
build to their needs.
Yeah, because I had a look at the horror template and that ran like a dog on my computer. It had, I think the lighting was more kind of real time lighting, plus there was fog and a few other things, and that didn't run very friendly. Didn't run, very well on my Radium. I also downloaded, what was the other one? There was a star kind of, what was it called? Let me, hang on, easy enough to find out. Cassini sample. Looks really good, crashes my computer. So I can't run it. Just dies completely. So I did.
What do you reckon it is?
5.3.
Like a space sort of a space scene looks by the looks, planets.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. I can have a look. I can find it here, and we can just have a quick look at the actual content. Looks great. It looks really interesting. Where's it gone? Cassini, Cassini sample. Let's click on that.
Oh yeah, second in from the left next to cartoon water shader. You got it.
Yeah, so Cassini sample takes you to space to demonstrate the latest features of the procedural content generation. Now, I haven't looked at that at all, which is one of the reasons I was really interested to check it out. Procedural content framework. Through the creation of a space station and Saturn's rings. Now, I'm assuming this is kind of connected to, oh goodness me, what's the name of that application that they use to do lots of procedurally generated stuff? I can't remember.
Like the asset thing, like Megascans, or
No. I'm talking about the name completely escapes me. But they use it a lot. It's been around for years, and it's been used a lot for a lot of Hollywood visual effects and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
No, can't remember. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
no, wouldn't know the name.
So, yeah, this is the sort of stuff, if you can see on the stream. It looks really cool. I mean, this is, what's that
Oh,
movie?
that's the heart from that movie. Is it?
Sam Neill, horror movie in space.
Yeah, Sam Neill. So good. Why can't I remember the name? It's one of my favorites. Well, apparently not. I guess.
Event Horizon. Event Horizon.
Event Horizon. That's it.
Yes. If you like good horror movies and you like sci-fi, definitely check out Event Horizon. It's a classic. So it looks really good. If anyone has a decent, it specifically says you need I think an RTX 2060 at least.
Yeah.
I like the framing there. If anyone has a decent enough PC, let us know. Is it good?
Yeah,
Love to try it out, but
basically. So what I will say, because I did with 5.3, I did download like the city sample there, Electronic Dreams, Hillside sample as well. And I got those to run. In fact, I should try them again with 5.6 and see how they run. What I had to do was disable, what was it? Not ray tracing, path tracing. Because the NVIDIA cards handle path tracing really well, so do you know the difference between path tracing and ray tracing? You probably know better than I do.
I don't know the distinct differences. No, I know there is a difference. That's as far as my knowledge goes.
Apparently, path tracing is the one that gives you better quality, but it requires specific shading units within your graphics card to work. I think it's using like the what are the AI ones that they have in the Nvidia cards? I can't remember what they're called. But, you know, those newfangled kind of things. So all I need to do was turn that off, and it worked just fine. But I'll try. I'll check it out. Also, content examples is quite interesting. You know, this is one that I use all the time. If you've ever done my classes on that sort of stuff, it's really good. You know, check out the content examples. That's gone from, I think, 4 gigabytes for 5.3. This is now like 10 gig. I don't know what the hell's making it much bigger, but it's absolutely huge. So anyway, yeah,
Well,
5.6.
to show examples for, I guess.
Yeah, there's more in there. There's some stuff they've taken out. There's some stuff they've put in. Larger. I think they're using larger materials, larger textures as well. Probably going up to 4K, because of course we all have to go up to 4K. You know, we haven't asked. What graphics card you're using, Charlie.
I've got a good graphics card, but
Okay.
I have a terrible monitor which I've yet to update, so it's kind of useless. It gives me the power that I need, but I now have what is it? It's a NVIDIA RTX 4070.
Ooh.
Um,
That was the one that I had on my eye on.
Yeah, okay. I bought a PC for my partner, and I had an old 2070 Super one, which was a really good graphics card. And then so I bought her a PC, and I was like, I kind of want the graphics card in this one, and you can have my old one because, you know, you're just going to be running Sims. But you know, I think Sims is pretty intensive on the graphics card as well.
Oh, so you
There's
got
no
the
winning.
new graphics card. I was looking at the
Yeah.
4070. I was tossing up between the 4070 and the one that I got, and it was the RAM. It was the VRAM that pushed me over. So the one that I've got, it has 16 gig, whereas
Oh, you got 16. Yeah, this just has 12, I think.
oh, it's got 12. 12's not too bad.
Yeah.
The ones I was looking at had 8.
There was an 8 variation, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I got the one with the 12. Let me look at my system specs.
Yeah. Because I think they brought out the 12 later. Then initially had you could only get an 8, and then I think everyone, you know, was so upset about it. Nvidia did an update to it.
Yeah.
Did the 12.
Well, it's an odd thing to sort of go back on, especially when some of the earlier ones already had, you know, the 12
Ah,
sort of going.
yeah. Nvidia just doesn't care about graphics anymore. They're making too much money out of AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Fraser, do you want to mention what your graphics card is? I know you've got a AMD as well, yeah? Unless you've changed.
Yeah, I can get pulled up the specifics. It's old. My whole system is getting old. I think I built it in 2021, so it's and it wasn't top of the line stuff when I built it. So
Mm-hmm.
currently in there is a RX 6600 XT,
6600.
8 gigs. Yep.
Yeah, 8 gig. Yeah. So next time.
So it's done me well, but between that and I've got quite an old CPU, and I think my power supply is borderline for what I've got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really getting ready to upgrade. I think if we get the grant, that'll be one of the things I'll invest in. It's a couple grand on a new system. I've got good enough peripherals. I've got a new pair of headphones on the way. I just need a machine that can run a little bit smoother.
It's so nice when you upgrade. When you're having to run your own hardware. Yeah, when you're upgrading, it's like, because if you're paying it for yourself, you want it to last as long as possible. So
Yeah,
I think,
totally.
Yeah.
I had a GTX 1080 when I upgraded this.
Oh, you had the
last
glorious
year.
1080.
Yeah, it was a really good graphics card, but it's sort of seen its. I think it was like nearly. Goodness, how old is it now? Is it 7 or 8 years? No, more. 10 years old now.
Yep. Yeah.
It might be
I'm
close
not
to
sure
10
probably
years.
about that.
I think it's close to 10 years. Yeah. So it was nice to upgrade that, but yeah. But talking about funding, we're gonna have a bit of a look at the funding
What a
approvals.
segue.
Yeah, there you go. we're getting real professional now, segueing from one thing to another. So Do you want to, Fraser? Do you want to sort of take the lead on this one?
As I've mentioned a few times now, Gem and I have been applying. We've applied twice for funding through Screen Australia. So they offer the Emerging Game Makers Fund, which is funding up to $30,000, and the Games Production Fund, which is funding up to $100,000. And we thought we might have a little look at some of the recipients, some of the people that have been successful in their applications. Not every one of these will have public-facing stuff. It's quite a open grant. They're sort of pretty happy to take applicants that are in just a concept phase right through to people who have most of a game and are just looking for that last bit of money to get over. So, yeah.
Are there any that do have sites? Have you just sort of having some of those?
Yeah, I know Key Fairy is one. I don't remember when they were a successful applicant, but they have a website that Gem and I were looking at that we quite like.
Fairy.
And I sort of
is this the name of the game or the name of the? Hang on. So, okay, I haven't seen Key Fairy on.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on there. Maybe it was before
Previous
what they're
year or
listing on
something?
this site.
Yeah,
Yeah, it must be. But otherwise, the other ones I know of is Later Skater. I'm not sure if they have a website, but I know that they have an Instagram page, which I quite like the videos that they make. And I'm thinking about sort of leaning into them a bit more. I saw them.
Do you want to have a look? Have you got that up? Do you want to share your screen if you have?
Yeah, I should be able to pull it up.
These Starless Skies. That's a great name. Okay, so it's got a little synopsis there. I like that. So, in these starless skies, a discordant team of planetary scientists must confront their personal demons, unravel an enigma of mysterious, tidally locked planet, all before the inner chaos takes over in this sci-fi point-and-click adventure. Okay. Let me know if you're sharing your screen, because I haven't...
Yeah, I'm having the normal Instagram trouble where it's like trying to find a specific thing is almost impossible.
I see Later Skater's got a Steam page.
Oh yeah, that's probably makes more sense to show off.
I wish they had what state they were from as well. I'd be very interested to know.
I know they did the breakdown for it not too long ago.
Yeah, I think we went through it, didn't we?
Yeah, we looked at the yeah. I might drop the link to Later Skater Steam page if you want to open that up, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
That's in our Interesting Stuff channel.
In the Interesting Stuff channel.
And you know what? I might drop it in chat as well if I have the power.
So this seems like a pretty far along project by the judging of the content on their page.
Should we have a look? Should we have a look and listen to the whatever this is? Is this the? Yeah, to this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Full screen. Sound on. there we go. So very PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very PS1.
I was getting some Crash Bandicoot vibes from the spike traps in the interior.
Yeah. I like how at the start they say it's influenced by the classics, but then do not continue to say what classics in particular. I also found it interesting the use of the word speedrunning when it's really probably more of a time trial mechanic, but I think that's probably more nowadays appropriate language, I think. Because
I think it's definitely more.
Although speed running is very much just to pass a game as fast as you can, I think people will definitely identify with, and understand what a speed running mechanic over a time trial mechanic.
I imagine the analytics on it probably are a lot better as well, right? Like speed running is a very trendy term.
People search, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I really like their Instagram content as well. They talk about a lot of sort of the design challenges that they come across and how they go about solving it. I think that helped sort of inspire me. A demo.
They have got a demo. Yeah, it's on the same page. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. So yeah, that's interesting to see. Wouldn't be we should. I don't want to do it now, but what might be good is to find a few of the others. See which other ones are up there, so we can actually check out. It'd be good to sort of see which one of these we can just sort of see what they're like.
Yeah, definitely. I can go through a couple and find us some ones after this.
That would be fantastic. If you could you do it for next week, Charlie?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I know I saw. Sorry, Dungeons and Dining Tables. I saw was in here.
In where?
In the list, I think it's 4th or 5th down there, and I remember them. I think I might have seen them at the South Australian Games Exhibition, if I remember rightly.
Dungeons and Dining Tables.
But I could be wrong.
An RPG about collecting furniture and delving dungeons.
And it's it's on Steam. It looks like it's part of the ANZ Indie Fest, which is a cool thing going on at the moment.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Well, should we look at this one as well?
Yeah.
And then we'll jump into something different. So let's have a look at this one. Okay.
This feels like a very classic sort of genre combination, right? Like a very tried and tested sort of gameplay combined with a very popular trend at the moment, which is that sort of, Animal Crossing style decoration collection.
Yeah, the cozy builder.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well done. I mean, obviously well constructed. Looks really good. Sounds really good.
Yeah, it presents really well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
in that, trailer.
Strikes me as a kids game. Am I wrong there, or are sort of a lot of adults kind of into these kind of games as
I
well?
think there's, there's definitely an area for it in that cozy realm. It seems very casual. I
It
do
seems like the
wonder.
sort of thing that kids would play, but I'm just wondering, is there an adults?
I wonder if there's more sort of mechanics to it because there is games like the first one that jumps to mind is Rune Factory, which is a similar sort of premise. You run out and like I've played those, they're quite enjoyable for a little while. Um, you go out into the wilderness and you can fight your little enemies, kind of like the ants and stuff going on here, and then you come back and sort of either build up your house or work on your farm, kind of thing. So I can definitely see the similarities there, but I think where the older audience comes from for Rune Factory is like the relationship sides of things, and I'm not sure if this one is
Mm,
targeting that.
Mm. It certainly looks like the
yeah,
sort of game that I could play if I had kids or something, young kids, and wanted to play a game with them.
Yeah.
Would fit really well.
I think for me it's like seeing the combat, and I think the only thing that really registered me was a very classic sort of three light attack combo, and so yeah, it sort of gave the impression that the combat is there, but it didn't seem like there was a huge focus on it. Where the focus was more so on that
The building and
decorative and the
mm,
collection. Yeah,
mm. So I don't think any of us would be playing this game, but it looks like it's well made. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's cool. I do love though, like both of these, like this and Later Skate, are both funded by the Screen Australia funding, and it's cool to see that sort of broadness
Mhm.
Yeah, the
um,
difference for
of
sure.
success.
Mm. Well, yeah, we'll look at some more next week because I'm sure there's even broader
Hmm.
examples there as well. If we look at Incarnal, that sounds.
Yeah, I
Oh
know.
no, Dark Fantasy Hellscape. So yeah, okay. This we'll have to have a look next week at some other.
If I'm not wrong, there was a Winnie the Pooh horror game that was a successful applicant as well.
Really.
Yeah, because I think Winnie the Pooh went into
Like the public domain or
public
something.
domain.
Mm-hmm.
No
Yeah, and so
way.
it wasn't long
Okay.
after that, and so I haven't seen more about it. I remember seeing that get picked up uh, and go around online a little bit, and then I think at the start of the year when Gemma and I were first applying, Gemma was like, "Oh yeah, this is one of the applicants," and I was like, "Wait, they got funded by Screen Australia? That's cool. That's so yeah,
Mm.
Yeah,
definitely
a quick
broad
Google
range."
search has given me Winnie's Hole. Does that sound like it's it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Let's look at them next week. Let's
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's maybe check out. We're going to have a look at another amazing game, student game, which we have looked at before, but we're going to look at it again in line with the other games we've been looking at over the last couple of weeks. So, Charlie, you're going to play through Deep Climb for us, yeah?
All right, let me set it up.
2 for
Where's
2 on those
my
segues today, Chris.
Yeah, I'm getting
Feeling
good. I'm getting good. I'm also going to leave you for half a second because that coffee is.
Yeah,
kick it in?
So I'll
that's
be
all
back
right.
in just a sec. You keep people
I can,
entertained.
yeah, easy. So, yeah, Deep Climb is a game that I worked on as my capstone project for uni with Benji and Zeb and River and Gemma. Um, it's a first person. Sorry, one second. Exploded. It's a first person platformer. We took inspiration from games like Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy and Jump King. The idea of a platformer that has unintuitive controls and can be really unforgiving, which was
Cool. Yep.
an interesting place to start because as we developed it more, accessibility is a big thing on our minds um, when we're working
And
on it.
with difficulty sort of base games, you've got to really choose your avenue. It's hard to cater for both, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. And I mean, there's a whole discussion to be had around games like Dark Souls, and the difficulty there, and um, the idea of accessibility in those games. And I think, uh, I think that conversation gets tripped up quite often in the idea of needing difficulty settings. But I think that's a very shallow approach to accessibility and what it means for a game to be accessible.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Well, I think it's a big part of understanding who the target sort of audience is and like what kind of people can be within that target audience. And you want to make sure,
Yeah.
you know, everyone of your target audience can give it a shot.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's lowering some sort of difficulty aspect or changing the color or, you know, anything else.
Lowering the difficulty. This is obviously not a Souls player here. It's obviously lower the difficulty. That's
Oh no,
heresy.
I actually am, but I do believe that everyone should have a bit of fun if they want to.
Isn't that a big?
Yeah.
I'm not in the get good mindset, that's for sure.
Isn't that
Yeah.
a big sort of controversy? You know, sort of amongst Souls.
Yeah, it is.
Players like because they don't. There's no difficulty setting on Souls games, isn't there?
You've nailed the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we were just sort of talking about. I'm sure you remember, Chris. We started Deep Climb. We wanted it to be a frustrating game, like games like Bennett Foddy, Getting Over It, and Jump King. But
I do recall
through the
that,
idea
yes.
of thinking about it from an accessibility standpoint, we started to implement features that made the game easier, but not necessarily the platforming specifically. Which was an interesting sort of shift in the design where we added things like checkpoints and
Yes.
you know looked
do
into having separate modes whether you wanted to do that or not. And I think it's better for it. It's just a little anecdote I have, but
Yeah, I think as Charlie was saying, it depends. You know, who's your target audience. If your target audience is, you know, hardcore players, then absolutely leave it like that. If you wanna bring more people into it, then, you know, think about that as well.
I think it's also trying not to exclude anyone is kind of the
Well, I
think,
mean,
the mindset.
yeah,
Yeah, again, it's just the design. Like, look at the runaway success of that Benny, whatever the hammer climbing game. Like, that's not forgiving, and it's very much is not targeted at anyone else except the hardcore gamers. But like, there's a full market for it, you know.
And if they say, you know, the old saying, if your target market is everyone, then it's no one. So, you know,
Yeah.
you need to keep that in mind. There's, yeah. Having a target market
Yeah.
is kind of.
I think about it in
Oh.
the sense of though, like I think Soulsborne games have caught a bit of flack for not having remappable controls, and that seems like you're not making the game easier, but it means that people who need to use different sort of controller setups, whether those be like the accessible ones or even just
Sure.
I saw
That's a
an
bit
Instagram video.
That's a bit
I saw an
different
Instagram
to
video.
just difficulty level. I mean, yeah, that's
100%.
fair. I guess maybe that they would come back and say, well, if you remap these, then it can make it easier. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of swings and roundabouts, but
But yeah,
Charlie,
and you can see there we've got the difficulty, the checkpoint mode to
Checkpoint mode, yeah.
yeah.
Which is, I guess that's how you handle that. You give people the option for the hard mode, which is nice.
are you
Yeah.
not going to go the checkpoint mode, Charlie?
Should I do the raw experience or for the ease of the viewers? You know, we're not going to be going far back. Oh, let's go
Honestly,
to checkpoint mode.
Yeah, at this point, I see it as without checkpoints is sort of the challenge run for
Yeah.
what we have of Deep Climb. So
All right. Well, I might start your tutorial and give me a quick little rundown of what's going to happen.
well, not so quick. We've got a bit of a
so
comprehensive
quick?
tutorial. This took
All right.
quite a bit of the development time. Was sort of back and forth discussions with Chris and the team to figure out sort of how best to go about teaching players
Yep.
unintuitive controls game. Really unintuitive is the WASD for movement. Not a lot of games you see.
Oh, okay. Interacts. Oh, so you also have text as well.
Mm.
You know, I'm gonna be the classic gamer and just do all visuals. So space jump.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and that's not working for me. Okay, I got a bar. Charge up jump. Alrighty. There we go.
Yeah, you know, it surprises me how many times I have to say to students when they're making games, this, people are not going to read, you know, this half page of text you put in front. Oh, yes, they will. Why wouldn't they do that? It's
Well-
like, well, you probably don't. You don't, I'm sure.
The only game that I've learnt I need to read the tutorials for is Yakuza, and boy are those some hefty tutorials. You start like a mini game and it's like page 1 of 13. It's just like, oh wow.
Yeah, that if it's like that long, it will always lose me. Like, I'm willing to spend a little bit of time to read a little bit. If it's a tutorial, like a jump tutorial, like I can understand this for new gamers. But I'll definitely skip past all text on something like this. But if it's like system heavy sort of management, I'll definitely give it a bit of time. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
there's 2 different types of jumps. Okay. Whoops. Okay.
Go well
It's
so
a little bit too early,
far. Let's go well so far.
Hey,
Oh, it just gave up on me. It went, alright, you're fine. You made it.
Oh, there we go. I told you it'd be worth
Click. What do I
getting Charlie to
click?
test this out.
Space and click. Oh, does that propel me forward? Okay, so lots of charging. So charge, jump, charge, forward, propelling.
Mhm.
As well as a forward? Oh, that's to counteract the pure forward jump. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have noticed and just sort of intuited it, but there's no air controls when you're jumping, so WASD has no impact once you leave the ground.
Yes,
So-
have noticed that, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting choice for a 3D platformer. I
Yeah.
can see the need for a tutorial to be able to figure these things out. Okay, it's going to be a forward jump and a mouse jump.
Yeah, that's definitely the sort of Jump King inspiration in there. The idea of once you commit to the jump, you're sort of stuck with it.
Yeah, a little bit of realism in there. A little bit of laying down the physics law.
Yeah. As much as it bothers me normally in a game.
Whoops. Oh no. Don't fall off again. Okay. So space, forward, jump. There we go. I didn't think I was going to make that one. Okay. Jolt tutorial complete. Okay, there's more. What else do I need to know in this game? More jumps. Oops. Space plus. Ooh, right click. Okay, what happened there? Did that give me a little bit of aerial control?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, it's an extra boost. Okay. Okay, yep. Getting it. Nope. Not
You
getting
can
it.
tell we've got a veteran. You can tell we've got a veteran gamer here testing this game. Charlie's no newbie.
There we go. There's the boost.
This
Oh,
guy,
okay,
this guy doesn't
everything.
need
Yeah,
to read
nice.
the instructions. I like that.
Here to interact? No, thank you.
I should
Alright, so we got a bit of a-
show this to all my students when they say, "Oh yeah, people will read, you know, the instructions." Ah, they won't.
Well, it's all time. Hey, you know, it's who has time to game all the time. So when
too
you do,
many-
you don't
too
want to
many
be taught how to
games.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
too
too many
many
games
games.
to spend too much time on one, isn't there?
All right, so Oh, so that does that boost me up if I'm even no. Okay, so once I'm in the air, the right click really sort of floats me along. Tutorial's complete. All right.
All right, let's see how you go in the actual game. I'm fascinated to see this.
I think I did turn it on already. This game, yes. This has been changed. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
I've got to go up.
Actually, I was thinking the other day, Fraser, I was watching a show on the Mariana Trench. You familiar with the Mariana Trench?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm thinking, this, this is exactly the sort of framing that would be really good for this game. You've dropped down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Now you got to get out.
Yeah. I think actually the depth meter in the top right is based on the depth of the Mariana Trench.
Really? Yeah, 11 k's.
Oh,
That would be right. Yeah, that's actually the deepest part of the Mariana Trench, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's, what do they call it? The
Challenger Deep?
Challenger Deep. That's it. Yes.
Yep. I did pull it up on Google really quick. I know. I mean, I do. I think
You
the
could have
Mariana
just shut
Trench
your
is
mouth and looked
fascinating,
really
but,
smart, but no, you had to spoil it. I'm impressed that Charlie's doing so well. This guy's he's a veteran gamer, hardcore.
Look, I
That
think,
beautiful tutorial. It really prepared me well.
As I say, I think we really benefited from our playtesters through the course of development, being maybe not super familiar with this sort of game, and so it really helped us focus on making it as approachable as possible while still being an odd sort of unintuitive platformer.
Ooh.
Did many people read?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Did many people go through the tutorials? I know I did. That you tested with it?
Yeah. They did. I think it's maybe just a little bit of for the current iteration of the tutorial, it's kind of like when you're sitting there, it's really hard not to just say this is how the ability works. But compared to the tutorials we had before, the one we ended up with, it is funny because we started where we were like, the level will teach the player how to use their abilities, and that didn't work. And then we made tutorials that were just still too complicated. And we just had to keep stripping it back.
I do recall, yeah. It was a long process.
And I think one of the final touches that helped so much was adding those animated arrows to indicate the direction.
Even those, I think you went through a few iterations, didn't you? Different colours and things like that, at least.
I think the colours came pretty naturally because very early on we had this idea. We wanted to have a more like in-universe HUD, not just sort of very basic bars. And so we had thought about things like fighter pilot heads-up displays, and the idea of when you're underwater, colors lose their vibrancy depending on the depth. And so bright neon green is a very classic sort of fighter pilot HUD, but it is also one of the colors that stays for the longest the deeper you get.
So what happens when you get to 0 meters depth? Do you get a prize?
If we were to keep making it, I mean, you'd reach the surface and you'd sort of be given a choice of going back down or staying at the top. Yeah. There's a lot of us working on there, me in particular, very story driven, very narrative driven, and so there was a lot of ideas about you wake up at the bottom of the ocean because you were trying to get there because it's the last sort of safe place on Earth, but you don't realize it due to all the pressure and the natural human inclination not to be not underwater. and so we were trying to hint at that. There are little floating body parts hidden around the map, which act as little collectibles, and they offer little narrative snippets. And so the idea would be over time you would
Body
sort of
parts.
yeah, bits of other
Like an
divers
arm and a
who,
leg.
yeah, who didn't make it as far as you.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
Max, I will say, the mechanic is it's really well done actually, and I think it is like that unique take on the platformer. And all that is missing is that story element, because I do really like sort of interesting things like this. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of. I don't think it's complete yet, but Lorm's Lure is one that comes to mind, and it's sort of based in this big, vast world, and I think they've been in turn influenced by the world of Blame and their massive sort of structures in there. But it's really simple mechanic of just climbing around 3D areas like this. But it's the story that keeps you going. It's really minimal, but it's mysterious. You know, you're sort of like this cyborgy creature thing, and then you can move around. But you want to know like why you're that, and you know where you are in that. And I can really see something like that really sort of polishing this experience off as like, you know, you're saying like a heads up display. If I even had something that indicated, oh, down I go, that indicated I was a diver climbing up, you know, maybe through like the mask or something, I would definitely get a bit more story even from that visual.
Yeah,
damn, I have to go all the way
100%.
back up there, don't I?
Yeah. I had Lorne's Lure on my wish list already. I think I
Nice,
remember
yeah.
seeing gameplay stuff and being like, this looks cool as hell.
I played the demo a little while ago. It's pretty satisfying climb.
Oh, I bet. I thought about it, but it just escapes my mind.
Oh, that's tough. All right. I wonder if I can just buy. Nope.
I think even though we have the tutorial, this level still is designed to be a tutorial for the abilities. Hey, nice.
There we go. Skip that. Which makes me think I can probably just get over this too.
Because it's that sort of gameplay that I really wanted to hit on.
Oh, there we go.
Am I on it?
Well done.
Alrighty. Now I just want to keep skipping things. All right. No.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, no.
I love that. Yep.
The confidence.
Yeah.
I get that same feeling when I was playtesting it, especially towards the end. The last couple sections are pretty brutal for safety nets. You got it. You got it.
There we go. It's a
And you
good
can
marriage
jump
of things you can do actually, because if you do know that you can like float and propel yourself and choose your jump direction, like I sort of intuitively saved myself from going too far there using every mechanic at my disposal. So
Yeah, I love it. And when you're looking to skip things, it's that, right? You're like, well, I could use every ability I have to skip this, but if I do, I've got no safety net. Whereas if I take the slow route,
yeah.
then if I mess it up, I might be able to save myself.
Come on. Oh. There we go.
Yeah, the
The music
Getting-
track as well. Is that one you guys just found sort of
no, that's
royalty
Zebedee,
free or?
So Zeb.
Awesome, yeah.
one of our teammates.
Really
yeah,
nice.
Nice.
and all the sound effects too were all done by Zebedee. Nailed
Cool.
it, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely
I
got
didn't know the
that
music
melancholy
was
feel of being under the
Mhm.
ocean.
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
I love this because it's like the design approach to the levels was, you know, there is an intended path, but like you can stand on pretty razor thin platforms. So
Uh-oh. No. I was trying to do that. I was trying to use one of the side ledges to shorten the
Mhm.
jump.
I think one of the things I would have loved to have had in would have been some sort of indicator for where your legs are, so you can have a better understanding of if you're going to be standing on solid ground or not.
Yeah,
I think the
definitely see that being a help.
sort of the height of the player as well is kind of odd. And so it's like sometimes you're not sure on, because later on there's some very, very small platforms you're expected to stand on, and it's hard to tell if you are high enough to stand on them or not.
Oh. Was that a checkpoint? I just heard like a ding or something.
I think that's the left click when it's fully charged, it dings.
Oh, okay.
It was a big learning experience actually working on this. My first or second proper go at programming using blueprints in Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, what? No. The jet propel ruined me.
Mm.
Oh, then it just saved then, you cheeky devil. So did you actually get the entire 10 kilometers of content?
No.
Where does it get to?
No. I don't think it crosses 10. Yeah, that's a good question.
And is it segmented into sort of loadable areas, or is it one? Was the plan to have one massive climb?
I think at the very beginning it was to have one massive one. What we have here is just one continuous level, but
yeah,
the plan towards the end became if we were to keep working on it, they would be segmented levels. None of us working on it are sort of dedicated programmers, so there's a lot of caution around.
You can do it with streaming levels really easily with Unreal, and you don't even need blueprints. You can just use volumes and stuff. If you
yeah, and just load things in and out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I was looking into that actually for Arvo a few weeks ago, but yeah, at this point we were like, well, I think there was it's really it was really hard to be mean with the design. Like seeing you fall all the way down from here, it's like, oh no, like I want you to succeed. And you know, when you're in control of sort of determining how hard it is, it's
Oh.
yeah,
God.
we found ourselves leaning more and more towards making them easier. Yeah, nice.
Okay. As far as I've gotten. Could do with a save right now. Alright. That seems... Oh no, not one of these!
Oh!
You cheeky devil! I
Oh!
knew that too. I knew that was going to be a thin little platform because of all the
Yeah.
others, and I was like, surely this is the end. Alright.
Should we... Do you want to keep playing, or should we have one more thing we're going to do. We can leave it till next week if you want to.
No, we can move on, unless there's something in particular that I could get to up here.
If you back out, there might. I think at the bottom of this section, there's one of the narrative bits. If you want to just see that.
Oh yeah. So just jump off here, do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you just drop down, I think there's a little rock cave behind you. Yeah, if you press F,
I was actually going to walk over here.
Flashlight
earlier.
on.
Yeah.
Not that
nice.
it's super helpful, but
Yeah. I do like how the things sort of come. I'm looking around now and I can see all the areas, but as I was going through it as a first-time player, it was nice how just the path is slowly lit up before you. All right.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with the lighting. Oh, this is one of the bits I wrote, actually. No, it's not. Never mind. That's one of Zebedee's.
So these would be like little journal things of other divers who have stopped.
Essentially,
Well,
we I was very inspired by Disco Elysium, and specifically Shivers, which is one of your emotions. And so the idea of like essentially the writing from my perspective was like also like object memory in a way, because they're all body parts, or in this case like a tank. It's yeah, sort of like, you know, what as an object, sort of what its memory is.
What memory?
We have no
what's
good
that?
like
What's the theory of the rock stone theory that holds memory or something?
yeah. We've got no good like in-world justification for why you can interpret these memories, but it was just a fun way to.
You think about it long enough, you got to come up with a good design.
Yeah.
Good reason. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was really cool.
Thanks. It makes me want to keep working on it, but I'm like, I've got Larvo to.
Honestly, just putting a narrative layer to it, I think, would be so cool, because you pretty much, you know, got it, and you could be a really complete little like demo experience of like slice by having that narrative layer.
Yeah, it's a good point. But yeah, thanks for playing.
Looks good. Yeah, it's good to go back to it actually. It would be interesting to see it taken to the next level. I have to admit, I would like to see. I would like to see that.
One day, hopefully.
One day, yeah. Well, I think like all creatives, you know, in the creative industries, you've always got at least 10 half-finished projects sitting there. You know, you think, I'll get back to that one day, and time goes on.
Yeah.
So, hierarchy of fun. I came across this in Reddit. So the link to the Reddit discussion is there, but I sort of put together a little little presentation thing on this, which I thought we could go through and just have a bit of a chat about. There's some really interesting stuff on this. So can you guys see? Do I need to share my screen with you, or can you see?
I've got you up on Twitch, but it'll be a few seconds delayed.
I can share my
watching the stream.
Share my screen. Get Nitro. No, thank you.
Dang. They're relentless, huh?
Oh, goodness me. Almost as relentless as Microsoft pushing Copilot. Goodness me.
Yeah.
You can't turn Copilot off on PowerPoint anymore, I discovered this morning. It just keeps coming up. It just keeps coming up. Oh, no. Are you sure you don't want Copilot? Yeah, I'm really, really sure I do not want Copilot. Please leave me alone.
On my taskbar, Windows was like, an app is using your location. I had Discord and Chrome up, and I was like, no, nothing should be using my location. I went and turned it off. That's just awful.
It's funny you bring that up, because I was just like, what the hell is this in my taskbar? Oh, it's Copilot after the most recent update.
I'm seriously looking at changing to Linux and OpenOffice. I'm so sick of Microsoft and all that garbage. It's just it's just crap. Anyway, enough whinging about Microsoft. You never finished. So hierarchy fun. So so it was someone put this forward. So talking about the hierarchy of fun is inspired by Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Maslow's hierarchy is a fairly well-known psychological hierarchy of human needs. Are you guys familiar with that at all? Come across that?
Yeah. I've heard of it, but I can't say I've actually looked into it.
I think...
Fraser, do you remember what the hierarchy is?
What are it's like? There's like I remember there's a self-esteem in there. Something to do with like base needs.
Yeah, essentially it starts at the bottom with, the most fundamental requirements, which I think is like food and shelter,
Mm.
and then it works its way up to things like belonging, community, and then self-acculate. No, can't, it's gone.
Actualization.
Actualization.
Thank you, thank you. But honestly, I think it's been taken over by memes over the
Taken
past
over by memes.
little while.
How has it
Yeah,
been taken
so
over by memes?
so
Can't say I've
people will
seen any
paint.
Maslow's hierarchy memes.
Yeah, so they'll take the pyramid and they'll paint over the sections and add in other things to sort of, well, it's a meme, right? So it's a remix, it's a retake on it. But I think it's a really interesting use of it because it draws this comparison between your fundamental needs and sort of says, well, instead of shelter, it's a salted caramel frappe. And I'm like, that's an interesting glimpse into humanity, I think. Yeah.
We've got Solace in the chat saying memes are the way. Yeah. Well, I think they're more accessible, aren't they?
And I also think it's just an interesting introduction. Like, genuinely, I think there's so many people who know of Maslow's hierarchy without realizing what it actually is because they've seen the memes of it. But you still get the idea. Like, you need to have a basic understanding of what it is to understand the memes that you see of it. So, but yeah, and so it kind of makes sense that somebody would go to Reddit and say, I'm using this format to sort of communicate my idea.
So let's have a look at the different layers because it's quite interesting what they've got here. So layer 1, they've called moment to moment. First impressions from visuals, audio, combat, feel, and thematic elements. It's the immediate visceral reaction to seeing the game. So I'm kind of, as we go through this, we'll go through it and then maybe go back and talk about it because my question is, what is this actually? What is this trying to say? So layer 2 is the core loop. This is where the player starts to understand the rules and engage with a basic gameplay loop. The feeling here is about becoming competent and excited by the game's mechanics. So it's like we're going on an adventure to, as a player, sort of, okay, I look at it first, then I engage with the mechanics and start to understand them. Then you've got layer 3, which is progression. At this stage, the player has a grasp of the rules and becomes aware of the effort needed to earn rewards. They understand the economy of time and effort versus in-game rewards. So then we have layer 4, meta/mastery. This is where a player truly understands the game's systems and nuances. They know the small details. Oh, you played 100 hours then. That give them a performance edge. Then layer 5, emotional layer. This is the pinnacle where a player says, I love this game. Their behavior shows it. They play every day. Okay. And talk about it with friends and are deeply invested. So I'm just kind of interested in what this actually is. Hierarchy of fun. So what is this? Maslow's hierarchy needs 5 layers essential for player engagement. Okay, so this is a player engagement framework. Okay, so what do you guys, any sort of impressions there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a reasonable way to try and categorize that sort of level of engagement. I can understand the idea of if somebody is only just started or not super into it, they might go, oh yeah, this game looks fun, or it's got a cool soundtrack, but that's it. Versus if somebody's playing it every day and it's seeping out of the computer into conversations with friends, I can understand. There's obviously gray areas and those lines would definitely get blurred, but from a first impression, it seems pretty robust.
Charlie, any thoughts?
Not much new stuff, but yeah, definitely just, it feels like a framework of something to keep in mind as you design in that, because obviously the moment-to-moment stuff really matters. Your core game loop is the meat of your game, and then obviously the rest of it is what's going to keep players attached and going. So I would look at this and view this as sort of like a design ethos with this base layer of knowledge that I have right now. Really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it, my first impressions. So, you know, first impressions. As soon as you look at the game, I guess you know pretty quickly is it something for you or not. To me, that's kind of what that says. So you have to hook your players in to begin with. So that's almost a marketing thing in some ways as well. So your first impressions, visuals, audio, combat, or combat feels a little bit different, but certainly before you've bought the game and started playing, you know, there's elements of this. Your immediate visceral reaction to seeing the game
rings to something like appeal to me.
Yeah.
Just that sort of very just emotion response, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly first read moment to moment as in like you know, what's happening from moment to moment in your like what the player is doing. But I guess that sort of more constitutes what the core loop is. That's sort of how I read that, and it's maybe to me like how you engage the player in those moment to moment things while they go about the core loop. Was my immediate sort of thought of that.
Yeah.
But I think it is more along the lines of first impressions.
That would be clearer if you just say first impressions. Yeah. I maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not perfect yet. So let's have a look at some of the other stuff here. So that's the hierarchy of fun. I mean, I think it's potentially useful. It's something I'm thinking. You know, if I'm designing a game, building a game, there's certainly elements of that I would potentially think about.
It feels like a good tool for analyzing a game, and specifically like how much people are enjoying it. Maybe less of a proactive tool and more of the analysis and reactive.
Yeah. So let's go to the next slide and see what we've got. Okay. So commentary highlights. Many designers use the framework as a lens for analysis. You read the next. Did you read the next?
I haven't read ahead. I thought
emphasize adapting principles to the genre and target audience. So some contributors prefer designing around core player fantasies or experiences. This is kind of interesting to dig into. We don't have time to dig into today, but I mean, I think this is sort of stuff that I'd like to look into more. So fast action versus deep narrative. Removing features that don't directly serve this fantasy. There's skepticism about using rigid hierarchies with experienced designers often relying on intuition and gut feelings developed from practical industry experience.
Well, that just makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? Because you've got every game is pretty, you know, whether it's the same genre or not, they're all very unique, and you've got to design for that, not what the like a rigid hierarchy of what a horror game should be, you know.
That's something I'd like to.
I think it might be a little bit. I don't know. It seems like the idea of. I don't know. I guess fundamentally, I disagree with the idea that design can be done successfully, repeatably from intuition and gut feeling. I think if you try and dig into what intuition or gut feeling is, it's an internalization of a set of patterns or rules. And I think you benefit more from interrogating that and trying to understand where your gut feeling comes from than just hoping that you can keep having good gut feelings in the future.
Well, this is saying coming from the industry experience. So I guess in that case, they would have quite good pattern recognition at that point, whether they're aware of it or not. So their gut feelings would be a bit better, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I think there is a value to intuition, especially in this instance. But are
you saying Fraser, that you know, as a publisher, you could just sort of give a studio like, here's $100 million, and you just wing it, just use your intuition, just do whatever you like and whatever.
Sometimes
should be right, mate.
It's like,
is it for $100 million? Would you give your $100 million to someone who said they're just going to wing it? We should. I think we'll do that today.
I feel like sometimes it's kind of what it seems like, right? Like you look at like these studios that are getting money, and it's like, oh, you worked on XYZ games,
How many of them have failed?
therefore,
How many
yeah,
of them
it's
have
like
failed?
I want to see reasoning and structure for the decisions you make, and not just,
Yes.
oh well, I worked on this successful game, so therefore I can make another banger.
That's it's definitely something that I want to go into because there's a lot there, lot to unpack, and I don't want to go into it today because we could spend a lot of time on it, and I think there's other things I'd like to look at in relation to that as well. So what is creativity as well? And then there's also, have you heard of design science? It's another framework for using design in the business world, and it sucks. It sucks dog's balls.
The design.
Really?
side.
Oh, it's just it's the opposite of like intuition. It's giving business people a rigid structure. The worst thing you can do. But anyway, we'll go into that, like how we deal with that. Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down into those discussions. We'll never get out. So anyway, yeah. So there's some interesting things there. I think it is an interesting lens, but how much you could use it is a question. So there were some supportive perspectives useful for identifying design bottlenecks, especially for solo developers. So that's quite an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. Helps categorize where players get stuck in engagement. Now, I think that's the one. That's the one this is for. That is really, I think that's where that's what this is actually for. So if you were looking at a game, and again, it's sort of more analysis or maybe late stage. If you're testing your game and players are kind of just walking away at a certain point, that's when you want to have a look at it. But then you've got to have the opportunity to change things at that point as well. But yeah, that to me is what this is really for. The last one, provides structured thinking of onboarding and retention. That's marketing. that's marketing can do their own bloody thing. They can get out of our games design and creative stuff. They can go and they can do their own marketing stuff. Onboarding and retention.
This feels like if you're working on a live service game, maybe one of the most valuable tools you could have.
Our game was designed and created by marketing people. Strangely enough, it failed. Who would have thought? Okay, so some critical perspectives. So several experienced designers dismissed it as overly academic and divorced from practical design work. This is another one I'd really like to go into in depth. But I'm going to throw this to you guys. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I guess it's just like what you were saying before. Like, what is creativity? Following a rigid structure does diminish our own creativity. But it's to the individual as well. I know people can really sort of flourish creatively within like a really sort of structured environment where they feel safe to step out of the bounds, and other people who feel really oppressed by a structure in any sort of design task and need the freedom to really go out and about. I don't know. I'd say there's places for all this for all types of people. It depends how you work as an individual and with a team. Whether you need full free reign to go as wild as you want, considering time constraints and design challenges. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, at what level does a structure sort of diminish the creativity? Because that's what games are, aren't they? They're creations and expressions of our creativity. Yeah.
Fraser?
It seems so. From a first reaction to the sort of hierarchy, it seems like a relatively reasonable way to analyze how a player is engaging with the game. And so from that perspective, it seems like, well, yeah, if you are trying to figure out how players are feeling about a game, it's a great tool that you could use. It'd take a few minutes to apply to a group of players, and you might get some insight from it. So to be pushing back on it and saying, oh, it's overly academic, it's divorced from... It just seems like, well, if you don't like it, just don't use it. But it seems like if the tool works, even to some degree, then it's something that's handy to have in the tool bag. you don't have to use it every time. Sometimes it might not be applicable, but it seems odd to sort of shut it down and say don't use it when, unless there's a major flaw in it. It seems to be, functional to some degree.
So we've got Solus in the chat. I think pretty much agreeing with what you were just saying there.
Oh.
About, tools in your toolbox. Yeah. You've got the tools. If you need to apply it, you can take it. You can apply it there, and it can solve it. It could solve a problem. What I'm really interested in particularly this sort of comment is there seems to be. Now I'm doing a PhD right at the moment, so I probably should put that out there to say, look, I am in the academic world, and I've been teaching universities for a long time. I certainly know there are problems with universities, and there are problems with over-intellectualizing things as well. That is an issue. But there is, at the same time, what I see, there is this conflict, I guess you could say, between the academic world and the industry, the games industry, which is quite interesting. I see a lot of what I'd call maybe reverse snobbery coming from the industry towards academia and refusing to engage with anything from the academic world. I can understand why, but it's quite. It's a problem. It's more prejudice rather than actually based on, finding what's useful.
And that's sad, because being prejudiced just to different ideas will just mean that person will probably, try and figure out a similar thing and waste a lot of time when the answer's already there.
That's true. That's one of the problems. Having said that, look, at the same time, the academic world is also prejudiced against gamers. So unfortunately, it's from both sides. I would say there are a lot of academics who find the sweaty masses unpalatable, if you like, the sweaty masses of gamers. We don't want to touch the, no, we can't actually, talk about that. All the talk about, toxicity, the sort of toxic play and all this sort of stuff, and it seems to just be very. Solus is saying, "Hey, I resemble that remark." Yeah, I think most gamers do. Like we, most gamers are not that highbrow. I mean, there's this sort of pretty lowbrow element. Like we play games because we enjoy games, and then there has been. It's one of my definitely one of my critiques of the academic world is that, how can you really study, a world in which you kind of hate the people who are in it. The academics kind of hate the gamers, which is really bizarre. Anyway, that's my rant.
It feels like we've talked about this before, Chris, weeks and weeks ago, but as a relatively recent grad of game design, there's not a lot of good learning tools for game design out there.
Yeah.
And so when something like this sort of mock-up sort of hierarchy is out there, it's like, oh, a design tool I could use. Mm-hmm. And it kind of fits the trend of it being shut down. And I don't know, I've been cooking up this hot take, and I don't know if I'm all the way there yet, but I feel like I have a little bit of beef with the go-to piece of advice whenever a dev is asked what should I be doing as an up-and-coming indie dev. Mm-hmm. It's always do game jams. And I think it's not bad advice. It's a good idea to get experience and all the things and to work towards finishing a game. I think that experience of finishing a game is really important. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a game jam can really leave behind game design. And if you're not going back and assessing and analyzing the games you make, you're going to miss that. And it feels, this is where I'm like, I'm still cooking it because it feels like it's maybe part of that sort of fabric of the industry where it's like game design kind of just gets forgotten, and good designers are sort of in this camp where they're like, it's intuition and experience. And then if you're trying to learn design, it's like, good luck.
Gotta have that
Absolutely.
intuition.
Absolutely. Yeah. I 100% agree. And certainly with game jams, I've never really wanted to do a game jam because I prefer taking my time to do stuff. I can understand the attraction to game jams though. If you have some frameworks that you're using, like this framework here, and then you can then maybe apply that within your game jam, and then refine that if you already have that going for you. So yeah, but we could go through a lot more frameworks. I can in the coming weeks we can sort of talk more about a lot of the stuff I've been looking at. There's things like design patterns, game design patterns, for instance. Very interesting. We maybe we'll have a look at those sort of things. Not necessarily very good to use for a design point of view because a lot of the academic stuff is a bit complicated, which is sort of one of the criticisms that I have. So anyway, let's carry on. Also talking about this analysis for the sake of analysis, same sort of thing. Reinforcing business focused rather than player. I don't think so. I don't think it's business focused. I think it's talking about player engagement. So I think they're off the mark.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see business in it. It's definitely
no.
Yeah,
unless you don't want to engage your players. I mean, if that's what you want, fair enough. Okay, you go right ahead. You do you. So some of the things discussed as well. Focus on progression across as many aspects as possible. This I really liked. This is something I think I've been focusing on a little bit more. So progression and using interest curves in different ways across different aspects of your game. So do you remember interest curves? We've talked about those in the past.
Remind me.
It's jumping out at me as like the classic like film approach where you're talking about like intensity or something. But
same idea, but of course in a game you've got in a film you want to jump up. Your interest curves go right up at the beginning. You have some kind of dramatic moment, and then it drops down, and then it will come up again slowly, and then it'll come down, and it'll slowly go up until a crescendo, and then it'll come down again. So there's a few different ones. But in games, of course, you can play around with that in different ways. So obviously you've got your narrative, you've got your story, but you've also got your gameplay, the way you introduce your gameplay, and the intensity of what's going on. So if it's a shooter type game or some sort of combat, you want to put that intensity up at a certain time, and then bring it down. And you tend to have, when it comes to that, you tend to have sort of intensity in combat, and then it comes down, and you have times where you get you can repair your weapons, you can collect more ammo, you can repair yourself, get health packs and stuff like that. And it's good to be aware of that, because you don't want a spike in your story interest curves. You don't want them to cross. You want them to sort of be staggered. So you might have a huge thing on your gameplay, and then it'll go down, but then you'll have something on your narrative. Again, we can talk about this more. I think this is something which, if you keep that progression going, you're going to keep your player engaged. I think it's really important. So carry on.
Yeah.
Or unless you guys you guys got comments, no? Ensure fairness in failure by telegraphing problems and making punishments deserved. I think that's you should be always telegraphing in some particular way, communicating with your player if you made a mistake. Even in games like, the one you were just playing, Charlie. I mean, did Deep Climb telegraph sort of what, when you fell right down, what the problems were?
Well, I feel like a 3D platformer, it's very obvious when you fail, and with something like that is usually just like it's whether the controls feel fair or unfair. I definitely felt like when I failed, it was my own fault, that's for sure. And I guess in a game like that, like I said, it's all in the controls itself. If the controls feel unfair and like I should have been on a ledge when I wasn't, or vice versa, I would probably complain at that point.
So someone in
but
chat
no
has
contest
mentioned
this time.
Dark Souls.
Mm.
Do you think Dark Souls manages to do that? Does it telegraph problems? Does it tell you
I
why
think-
you screwed up?
I think classically,
Yeah.
compared to other similar games, yeah, that's been one of the sort of praise points for Dark Souls is that it feels like when you mess up, it's on you. But
Mhm.
I think it's really hard to get that perfect. And it's also a case of if you can 9 out of 10 times telegraph that fairness, but you fail on one, all you can think about is that one time that you're like, that hitbox, it didn't hit me, or this boss just has an unfair grab attack. And so, yeah.
That's human. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just being pissed off when you get. Yes, for sure, for sure. I agree. Yeah. So avoid including systems that do not contribute meaningful depth or player agency. I mean, yes. I think I need to think more about this. I'm thinking about
Useless
Stray.
systems kill fun. Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
Stray.
I would argue against this actually.
So tell me why.
Oh well, I really love it. Like, I'm not gonna say like a deep system that's useless, but I do love a game that has some, interesting little features that don't help the player in any other way. Like, for example, one thing I always want to be able to do in a game is like sit. Like sometimes I'm walking around as a character or something, like I wish I could sit on that chair just to like role play this scene
Yeah.
right now as this character. And it's a useless system. It doesn't help, it doesn't do anything, but it adds layers of immersion.
Yeah, that's
And
the question
I think-
though. So in that case, if it adds layers of immersion, then wouldn't you argue that it's not a useless system?
I feel like that's what this comment is saying though. Like if it doesn't directly relate to your, the meaningful depth of the player.
Yeah. So the example I
Yeah.
was thinking of was from Stray. We looked at Stray a couple of weeks ago, and in Stray you can meow if you hit the A key. You can drink water. You can
Scratch
what-
carpets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can just do lots of cat things. And I was thinking that some of those things are useless, even though a number of them are actually woven into the gameplay, which is great. But some of them are just useless. They are just like the emotional immersion. They're for people who like cats. You don't play the game if you don't like cats. If you like cats, you like that whole thing. So I think if you broaden out the whole thing of contribute meaningful depth, if you include the emotional, if you include those different parts of it, then that is then you could say that. Yeah, you don't want. Can you think of any really useless systems that just really provide nothing at all?
The gun combat in Mirror's Edge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was half baked.
That was because every game had to have gun combat in it back when Mirror's Edge came out. That's why that was there. It was awful, but it was true.
I think like just sort of being so summarized as useless system skill fun is maybe sort of not helpful, but yeah, like thinking of it in that sense of, is this system useless or not? And
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm trying
that's
to
where
think
you
of
can
a meaningful
arrive.
system as something that gets in the way of players' enjoyment.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
But I
might
think
be a-
that's it, right? Like, you could argue that the meowing in Stray is useless. It has no functional purpose, but it has a huge immersive purpose.
yeah.
Like Crash Test Butler is saying in chat. And then, counterintuitively, the gunplay in Mirror's Edge on the surface seems like it would be really useful, but because it was not part of the core sort of guiding principle of the game, and because it was half made, it ended up being less than useless. It ended up being impactful, a detriment essentially.
Well, it pushed you out of immersion. I mean, are you seriously telling me that tiny little girl could just walk off a gunshot wound? Yeah, no problem.
And also
I'm good.
narratively,
I just got shot, but that's no problem. I'll just walk it off. I'm fine.
I love at the end of the game, it's like we're trying to kill the messengers, break the lines of communication. But I think about the past like 2 hours playing the game where I'm holding like a heavy machine gunner gunning down cops. I'm like, was I just a messenger? I think I was an active combatant.
Yeah, but that's a time. Look, that is of its time. If you think maybe, well, actually, now I come to think of it, I would say so. Um, Death Stranding suffered from a similar thing. I don't think that needed gun combat in it, and I think it suffered from the gun combat. So
I
maybe
agree,
it's
actually.
yeah, maybe it's not completely gone. That idea that we have to have gun combat in a game or something. I haven't played Death Stranding 2, but I believe it's still the combat is still there. If anyone has played Death Stranding 2 and knows, I'd be interested to hear if anyone in the chat if has played Death Stranding 2. But yeah, useless systems. I think things like
Yeah,
that
we're
are
adding
useless
guns
systems.
to Arvo for the next one.
I'm sure you will not. I'm sure you will
I know
not.
that could be good. That could be good immersion. A gun out the window and a good yeehaw shot into the sky.
You're a delivery
Yeah.
driver. You also have a gun, though.
Yes. All right, let's
Yeah.
carry on. I think we can agree to agree in with I think we're all on the same page. The next one's strive for elegance and simplicity, especially on tabletop analog games. Does anyone play tabletop analog games? I think some of us do, but we're not. We're focused on digital games here, so I'm going to skip over that one. Sorry, those of you who are tabletop analog gamers. Fraser. Respect the player's time and prioritize fun over monetization. Oh, I mean, does anyone need to really? No, monetization all the way. I mean, really. The marketing people. That's we need to tell the marketing people. No,
Well, I
too
guess
much
that leads
monetization.
into the whole ethical thing of the really intense monetized games in the mobile gaming realm.
Yeah,
because there is a
particularly
lot
those
of
dark patterns which we've talked about.
yeah, and there's a lot of people susceptible to that, I think. So it definitely needs to be in our thoughts for sure. Like especially kids. If kids get into those things, they don't know what's right or what's wrong, and then it's the
Yeah.
norm for them.
Yeah. We're seeing more of it in PC gaming. They're trying to bring more of it into PC gaming at the moment, which is disappointing. So use cost-benefit analysis and experimental validation to guide design decisions. So, especially when balancing depth and iteration speed. Yeah, okay.
Cost benefit analysis feels like a wild proposition. Do you mean like be mindful of the scope, like, or
I'm not
do you just see
sure
design as
cost-benefit
a
analysis.
like value addition? Like, well, a game is made when the programming's done, and then we can have a designer make it better. Like, it feels like a really odd way to.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's skip over that one. So what have we got next? There's a dopamine and motivation. Well, we're gonna have to wrap up soon. We're actually over time, but let's finish this off. Discussion includes the manipulation of dopamine. So, dopamine just means a reward, isn't it? I mean, you said dopamine. That's just the biological term of what happens when you get a reward. You get a dopamine hit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the chemical released in the brain when something feels good,
Yeah.
or you experience something which makes you feel good. Sorry.
Okay.
I think
manipulation of Fraser?
I think there is a part of me that is like concerned about the manipulation though, like, because I think there's one way to think of it as like, we're making games, we're trying to elicit an emotional response in people, and usually hopefully that's like a happy response, but then the same thing can be said by saying we want players to have a dopamine response, but like the connotation is really different. And so I do understand.
We're back into dark patterns, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you just pull out the gambling aspect, a manipulation of dopamine is just it is a design goal for a game. You're trying to make something enjoyable, and like you said, send a message or elicit an emotion. It's when the money and the gambling side comes in, and we're making use of that dopamine hit to monetize the games.
That's a good point.
Dark gray area comes in.
Yeah. There's also the idea of addiction, game addiction. They've talked about people dying because they don't eat; they just game all the time,
which is just wild. Surely that's is that I feel like that goes back a layer to like the human layer, you know, like the psychological layer of chemical imbalances in the brain and addiction itself. Yes,
Yeah.
I think industries, in all industries, do have a, what do you call it, like um, a duty of care, should I say, to, you know,
Mm.
not work on that so much. But there's always going to be someone who is just very chemically imbalanced, right? And that would, like, it's a hard, I guess what I'm saying is it's a really hard thing to plan for.
You think a duty of care? So does the gambling industry have a duty of care? Duty of care?
Look, it's all in the
Probably
morals.
should.
Like, it's whoever's in charge and sets the morals. Like, there probably should be a duty of
Mm.
care, but there's not. I know.
Mm. And what about YouTube? I love getting those online gambling ads shoveled down my throat.
Hey, I wasn't saying everyone's implementing duty of care. It was.
And then they say, oh no, and you can't use ad blockers because then we can't shovel these gambling online gambling
Yeah.
ads down your throat. So, excuse me. So anyway, I think we might wrap it up there. I think there's some other stuff we can go into there, but we've kind of covered a lot of this stuff. So the whole dark patterns, we have talked about dark patterns. We can come back to those and talk about them again.
Yeah, I've got 100 loot boxes in Overwatch, so I'm ready to talk about dark patterns again.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, yeah, for sure. We'll go back into them. But good discussion, actually. That was quite interesting. I think a lot of things came up there around game design. Like even we're on Twitch here, but we're not. There's no game design category on Twitch. We're in the development. We're in the development thing.
Yeah.
So people don't talk about this game design so much. It's mostly game development, whereas the design person, I think the design stuff is really important. The coding is obviously it's important, but the coding to me comes sort of after the design. You may not agree, Charlie, but I think that as a coder, that
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's any sort of aspect. Like yes, like there's not going to be a game without a code, but there's and there can be a game without design. But you know, if we are talking good and enjoyable experiences in games, then they're both as necessary as each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And I
I'd
think
sorry,
it's
Fraser,
we talked about it. I think when I was struggling with doing design work for Arvo, right, where it's like design work can feel like you're not making a lot of progress because it's a lot of documentation and thinking. Whereas
go.
you know, whether you're
Research and
doing art or
analysis.
but if you're doing art, audio, you're doing programming, there's often very clear indicators of how progress is going and if progress is being made. So yeah, I feel like
And
it can
there's
get sort of
artifacts.
forgotten about too easily.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's go into this in depth over the coming weeks. I think this will open up a lot of things we can talk about. So thanks, guys, and thanks to our commenters there. Was it Crash Test Butter? Crash Test Butter, I like that name. And Solus WA, cheers. Thanks for your comments. We'll be back same time next week, so that's 3:30 on Thursday Eastern Time. Crash program for 10 years. Now going from hard technical work to soft art. Soft! What's this soft art? No, I know what you mean. It's kind of it is a challenge to do, but it is very much worthwhile. So we will be back again next week to talk about the same thing. Sam might be back with us next week as well to join in the discussion. Otherwise, thanks everyone. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Fraser,
Yeah, thank you.
Charlie. We'll see you all same time next week. Cheers, guys.